Today at Solus Partners, we're really excited to have Ringale with Hoopoz. Ringale, could you tell us a little bit more about Hoopoz and how you guys can help teams better comply with ad regulatory compliance?
Sure. Great to be here.
Happy to have you.
Basically, like Hoopoz is a SaaS platform. We incorporate different AI technologies such as RAG model, NLP like GPT-4, and also we build custom machine learning models for different companies. We basically help them to analyze content on social media platforms, primarily video content, platforms like YouTube, TikTok, Twitch. And then we analyze the contextual information and give different scores for compliance and social media value of the creator. And then that helps brands to monitor the content online and make actionable actions on the content and respond to it.
Very cool. How are you guys able to, I guess, provide that score? I imagine there's a lot of technicalities when it comes to that.
Yeah, of course. I think you should think of different regulations, such as FTC regulations in US and local regulations in Europe, like GDPR. And what we are able to do is to retrieve the information of the regulations of laws, a visual context of it, the examples, and so on. And then we also retrieve information from social media platforms on creator content. We look into in depth into the video, into the audio, and context, and all of sorts of metadata like that. And then we generate the analysis, and the analysis is more about what it means to the brand. So whether this creator was compliant, adhered to brand policy rules, and then also give understanding of what was the marketing value of this post, so-called social media value.
Fascinating, Ringale. How did you guys come up with this vision?
So that was 6 years ago. I was working in a big iGaming company, and I saw like the boosting the affiliate content in general on websites, SEO, and then I saw the opportunity for creator economy because that was starting to also take place. YouTube was becoming quite big, and we would get a lot of traffic from that type of content, but we couldn't really connect the dots between like the clicks and the story and what worked in marketing strategy and so on. So from that came the idea to come up with this, and obviously I was working in the compliance field, so I connected that with more compliance requirements.
Interesting. What how would you describe kind of the highs and lows of the journey up to this point?
Yeah, so I guess like the major highs were about creating something from zero, and also seeing that idea turned into a product and then was helping companies to solve those problems. And I think that was the biggest high. Also hearing from the clients the feedback that, oh, this is actually solves my problem. So that was another thing that was really, really inspiring and rewarding. And maybe from the lows, something about that, it could be quite intense. As a founder, you have to like juggle with a lot of things and do everything at once at the start, and that could be really a lot of stuff. And then that sometimes you could also experience periods of silence from clients, and that you don't know what you're doing wrong, and you have to improve something, but you don't know what. And that kind of period of silence could be also quite low. But yeah, my advice would be to just live through that and take the best out you can, and then they will definitely respond at some point. And if they don't, then you just go to the next client.
Sure. Kind of touching further on that, what advice would you have for founders when they're just starting out, trying to get their sales and marketing function running? What would be kind of the best strategies or things that you've seen work?
Yeah. So I think like to pay attention to privacy. Like if you are a founder on a SaaS company or something that involves AI, so I would say that privacy is definitely important, especially in Europe, to kind of look into that because there's like bunch of AI acts coming in, and I think the easiest way to build a tool would be to kind of build with privacy by design and compliance by design, so that you tick the boxes later on in the sales process when you work with big corporates. You go through the due diligence easier, you know what to answer, and you don't need to, kind of change your tool to fit later on. So I would say that it's a good time to put more effort at the start to privacy.
Awesome advice. I think a lot of people will appreciate that. That's both watching and listening. Could you talk a little bit more about where you guys are seeing some initial traction, whether it be like prospective clients or existing clients?
Yeah, so the initial traction is mostly in like fintech companies, and I think that fintech is really, has heavy regulations, and they have more like kind of audits and everything. So clients there would, of course, be more interested into, ticking all the boxes, be compliant, but at the same time stay relevant and still use advertisement and marketing techniques. So there is definitely the biggest group of clients, but also we have affiliate networks, and there they usually have a mixed portfolio with other regulated companies like in healthcare and gaming and so on.
Awesome. Makes a lot of sense. What's some of the feedback that you're hearing from your existing customers? For example, what kind of features are they liking? What kind of ROI are they seeing?
Yeah, so I think like there's a bunch of different feedback. Maybe one of the important is that once we start the sales process, a lot of the times we talk with like heads, and sometimes if it's medium-sized companies to CEOs, and they are usually very interested into automation and very hyped into replacing some manual tasks. So they look at our tool as like a replacement and for some possible hires or people, and also to kind of automate tasks that are really daunting and time wise. So that is their excitement. But then at the same time, it's a problem for middle sized managers. Once we get into their team, then you kind of realize that it's also really hard to sell because they don't really want tools that would replace jobs. And I think that is one of the most challenging areas to manage expectations and educate the customers, where we could help. So the automation part is definitely the biggest interest at the start. And then later on, we have to really educate middle managers to how this tool could be incorporated in their workflows, and look into not maybe replace the people, but more into assist them with the task, and do smarter, get something smarter, more intelligent. And we kind of allow not to watch them manually the videos and annotate things, but automate that part and then show them the journey from the content journey, what was compliant and what is the social media value, so then they can actually look into this is the risk and this is the reward. What does it mean to my company? Look deeper into each single area of where the company was or products were mentioned, and what regulations they should adhere to in each market and so on. So the tool becomes like part of the workflow, and then that would be the most interesting parts to them.
Makes a lot of sense. So it sounds like Hoopoz is almost a team capacity builder when they sign on.
Yeah, I think indeed, like you could think of replacing jobs with Hoopoz, like if you want, but I think that it can easily, definitely if you hire or have people that manually watches videos, it's not a task that maybe you need a hire anymore. That's a reality. But then it's not only that we do that, we do ads and generate a lot of different insights that to work upon. So those people become more like employees become more like action doers, and it becomes like a tool to do something, with it, rather than just do a manual task. It's more intelligent task. So the teams become more like mixed in that.
Nice. Well, I mean, then it sounds like they almost have like an expert out of the box if they subscribe.
Yeah, exactly. So it just boosts the kind of workflows, and makes them make it completely brings it to the next level, I think.
It's awesome. Now,
Yeah.
where do you see that automation going over the next, call it 2 to 5 years? Like, what would be the future state of Hoopoz?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I think the automation will be just more and more, and a lot of the teams, I think like in bigger organizations, will be looking at developing their own things. Of course, they have to value, what kind of how big is the problem, how costly is the project, and so on. And maybe more medium-sized companies, they will have probably less budgets on creating something on their own. And I think that will be directing them to SaaS platforms. And so in that case, for us, it's like a brand new market for medium-sized companies and also get into the bigger organizations early with our solutions and make them more not like one problem solver, but more like dynamic, solving several problems, tackling several issues, so that we become also not replaced, but more like needed, and there would be no ideas to be replaced by its own development.
That makes a lot of sense. I can see the future. So I guess kind of thinking back towards more of the customer angle, what about Hoopoz allows you guys to win relative to other potential solutions?
Well, I think that the whole thing about our technology, how we retrieve data,
Mhm.
that is very, very important part because a lot of the other companies might be just looking at like surface level data, like creator scraping on likes and engagements and blah blah. But we do like more in depth. So we look at audio, image. We customize machine learning models for the brands. So then it's really targeted and clear generated outcome. So, and then again, we also differentiate because we provide the risk and reward kind of view so that you can, as a customer, you can then clearly see and decide what to do with this risk versus what value that brings to you, which is really important, I think, for any compliance and marketing teams.
That makes a lot of sense. Would you be able to give the audience and myself a little bit of an understanding of maybe a potential a customer that's used you guys and had a key win or just really enjoyed their
Oh yeah.
experience?
Yeah, sure. There's a few like good ones, but maybe one. There's a big company, DraftKings. They use us to kind of analyze their content, affiliated content, and really they couldn't differentiate anymore. Like, I have this big data to differentiate what is like the affiliated content versus direct. So deciding where the traffic comes from, and then also since there is a lot of data there, they couldn't really see what is, if it's affiliated content, whether those affiliates were following the brand policy guidelines. So those guidelines, they were able to put into our system and then kind of scan the content, look into it, and understand what are the problems. And in that way, they really automated the whole workflow and were able to see the traffic sources and so on. This actually was so helpful that they started to expand the tool not only to the compliance team but also affiliate team and influencer team. They're separate departments. So that was like a good win.
That's really impressive granularity and insight. That's really neat.
Yeah.
Obviously, it takes a pretty amazing team to create an amazing product that you guys have. What was that like in terms of finding your team and building it up?
Yeah, that's also tricky. I think it's all about the network, at least in my experience. Wasn't the founding team and the main developers were really like, I looked into at least very much into the tech aspect because at that time when I was creating this tool, it really required a lot of skills and knowledge and so on. So yeah, that was the founding team were a bunch of experts in each area. I was in compliance. My other founders in tech, they built blockchains and has had great really experience in building products. So we found each other through the network. Yeah, we bunch of people that were really excited for this, and yeah, we kept going until we developed it and start selling it, and then we expanded with more like, and yeah, so the employees were chosen in a different way, but I think the founding team was the major and most important step for us.
That's awesome. Where do you see
Mm.
the team and maybe just Hoopaz in general going over the next 12 to 18 months?
Yeah, so I think that Hoopoz will be continuous with the growth, and I think that we are, yeah, in terms of product, we are delivering one new feature, which is going to be called Creator Discovery, because we also noticed that some of the clients that join us not necessarily know exactly all of the creators that work for them. So that was also a revealing problem that we figured out. So we are trying to kind of build that type of solution to the customer base. And with that, we hope to kind of expand more with affiliate networks and work with them.
Awesome. Is that
Yeah.
fair to say it's mostly in Europe, or is it kind of spread out? Or
So it's actually now spread out like within Europe and US mainly. We do not have like this type of market approach yet, like that we target a specific market. We're more targeting like specific customers, like medium to large enterprises. And we're looking at that they would be regulated primarily or that they would have big affiliate programs. So that is, and then we don't care where they're from because no matter the country, they are still have their regulations, and usually the companies are so diverse right now. Like if you, for example, US based company, use a fintech, you most likely will have license in Europe or in India or somewhere. So like it's like that. Is that we don't really target the country yet.
that's great context. It sounds like for any potential listener that you guys might be a real solution, regardless of where they're at. So it's very encouraging.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome, Ringo. Well, I have run out of questions to ask you, but this is fascinating.
No, thanks. Great to talk to you. I think that the AI in general is going really fast, and we will see how the SaaS companies are using more and more of this. And I hope to see that there will be also more solutions that will be, unique and also problem solvers. As we previously had, a lot of those companies that were just one problem solvers, and maybe that is changing for now.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, teams are going to need solutions like Hoopoz, and so I think that if if nothing else, you're going to make teams more efficient and improve day to day workflows, and just basically automate tasks that otherwise people wouldn't necessarily love doing. So I think you guys can
Yeah.
free up time for more creative work or just more impactful work.
Oh, yeah. I think that we definitely do that, and hopefully that we do not that people will not see us as job replacements, but more as that they can actually do more creative things with our tool, and that will enable them to actually even have more fun because like it's no fun to do anything manually and just more fun to kind of okay log into Hoopoz and see what's the story behind my affiliates and direct content and just analyze them. So that's more fun.
That's awesome. Well, in the spirit of fun, this was also fun.
So you can find us on hoopos.com or just email me directly at ringale@hoopos.com.
Awesome, Miguel. Well, I imagine there's people that are really interested in talking with you. You got a really great solution here.
All right, good. I hope so.